I just see a big movement in the industry. LEDs or HPS?
Both. They're both good.
They each have their good and negative stats. LED, you're going to yield more. Your flower isn't going to be as expressed. You're going to yield less.
What Mike was saying. He didn't feel like the LED flower was on par with the HPS flower.
It's less consistent. It's harder to cook a good batch under LEDs, especially what LEDs are you using? You're just buying the cheapest LEDs? Or are you buying a set of LEDs that have been tested by growers to where they know they make, create good cannabis?
Yeah.
You can't just throw in any LED. We've learned that the hard way. We see it side by side, like, holy shit, get these things out of here.
So why did you say both? Like, what is it? Like, are you using both in the same room or?
Yeah, I mean, we've moved a little bit in that direction, just because of, a big part of the original movement towards it was cost of energy. I mean, if you're a trapper and you got 400 amps of power to work with or 200 amps of power, well, we can all do the math on, 600 watt LED versus 1,000 watt DE and how much canopy space you're going to get, how many,
cooling
exactly cooling. And, any trapper's going to want to push that electrical box to the fucking max. You know what I mean? If I set up a 400 amp barn, I'm trying to get as much as I can out of that 400 amps, and so that was a big part of it, and I think there's the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. We don't need HPS, in a typical HPS room, how many pints of humidity are you pumping in there the first couple weeks of flower or veg to even keep maybe 60%? A lot.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need to do that anymore. Checkerboard, turn them off, run the LEDs.
So checkerboard it. So a little bit of, are you doing that now?
Yeah, a lot of the spots we're setting up like that.
Okay, so HPS mixed with LEDs.
Yeah.
And so you're getting that finished flower that look, the
getting
quality.
The best of both worlds.
Yeah, you're getting best of it. You're getting the PPFD that the LEDs throw off.
Get quality HPS, yield of LED.
You're getting a veg under LED. I love.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so it's great for early flower, that veg in place. Mm-hmm. I don't need to be running 16 humidifiers trying to keep my room up to, it's fine. It'll hold 70%, no problem. Under LED, it's not a problem. And then as those plants grow, we get into flower, we're able to start, change, and we're able to change the spectrums, tune this one a little higher, tune that one a little lower. You know what I mean? Use the best of the reds that are packed in the, in the HPS, and those luxes throw retarded par too. So between that and a good solid LED, I mean, you really get just a spectrum that's perfect. There's a lot of little details that go into that, we're still working out, but you also got to have the ceiling height. You can't, you got 8-9 foot ceilings.
Yeah, you're not running HPSs. No. You have to do LED. No, so I get it. I get it. What you're saying, both power and ceiling height.
A lot of the LED weed over the time when I started looking at it, and I think this took a while for me to see a lot of bags. Just looks all the same a lot of the times. It's not all the time, right? But it's just got more of a rocky, bulgy appearance to it. It's not as expressed as that like traditional single-ended or double-ended flower. You know what I mean? Where you're getting that more natural expression on it, edgier, trichome development, see a little difference there, from time to time. But really just maximizing watts, right, that are available. I mean, that's really where it started. You know what I mean?
You're playing with some high reds.
So we start playing around with reds. There's a lot of manufacturers that make tunable lights, right? So start messing around with some different tunable lights. You can just buy reds and put them up in your room too, but definitely start playing around with Emerson effect.
Do you want me to give you like the full lowdown on everything? So it is a mixed light recipe. It mixes the best of both worlds. You're going to get your quality from the HPS and your yield from the LED. When you're vegging in place, this whole thing is a SOP together. It's all designed around the lighting. When you're going to veg in place with your LEDs, you don't have your HPS on to zap out all your humidity. So now as you're vegging in place, your checkerboard, your every other light vegging with LED, you don't need a lot of light. We're vegging 24 hours, so you only need like 250 ppfd. So now for that week to 11 days, you're running a very low ppfd, you're not fighting humidity, and you're using very low amounts of wattage. Then when you transfer into flower, you are going to turn on your HPS, which you're able to get a mixed spectrum. And then as you progress into flower, as your lights shut off during the day or at night when they shut off at the end of their 12-hour cycle, you're going to initiate the far reds. The far reds are going to make your plants transpire differently and uptake nutrients differently. They're always going to pray. So this is the real next thing, is the lighting. Everybody's like, oh, is it the nutrients? What's the irrigation? What's the runoff? everybody's not thinking about the sun. You change the sun and you change those diodes. You can't just buy a $400 LED, put it in there, expect to have premier packs going against everybody else in the market with the same damn genetics. You have to have a custom lighting recipe that's going to cook your weed way differently than anybody else. And people are starting to slowly see it now, and it's leaking out. And now that we've talked about this now, it's really out. It's something that we're not going to disclose. You know, everybody at dinner last night was like throwing up questions. Everybody's, what's the lighting? What's the lighting?
That was
we're
the only
like,
thing that everybody kept asking.
we're not going to talk about the lighting because we want to keep that to our own brands. Right now, I have 2 rooms down, fully outfitting them in mixed light. He just dropped a bag on doing all of his as well. So we're full in on this next journey here. And I feel we've figured it out. There's still some tuning to be done, but this is like the cheat code. Like, it's not the irrigation. It's not so much the nutrients. Obviously, you want to keep all those things in place, but you change the spectrum, changes everything. Game over.
We learned that at Lux. You know, spectrum's a really big deal. Color's a really big deal.
Huge.
What are you on? You're doing a full flower for 12 hours. And then how long are you using just the high reds?
4 to 8 minutes.
4 to 8 minutes.
That's it.
And we've done, I mean, you know me, Tweak McGee over here. So I'm constantly trying different different intervals, right? But that's the sweet spot for us right now.
And this isn't something new. This is the Emerson effect. When I first met you, actually, I made my first LED purchase. You answered the phone for Lux and kind of hit you with all these questions. But this is something that's been being done by the original DIY LED guys for a long time, but they never had the platform or the room to show the capabilities. So now that we've been implementing, he had a trap spot that was all HPS. He's like, Jay, this next spot, we're building all HPS. Fuck it. All right, run it. High yields. Low yields, high quality. We're like, all right, and the power's high. So we got to get past this. We started using a different LED. So now we're like, all right, we got to do the best of both worlds, mash them together. And it's turned out to be a perfect recipe. It's the pack next to pack. It's not even close. You're getting $500-$600 more per pound than you were before.
Just using that high red.
It's the lighting spectrum in general, the base lighting spectrum of both being mixed and then integrating the Emerson effect with the far reds at night. It might not seem a lot, but those 8 minutes of reds at night will put your plants to sleep and knock off a week of flower. So now it all comes full circle to where you knock off a week of flower. Guess what? We gain a free veg in the room now. So now you have all this space in your veg. You just bring in cuts, propagate your room, populate it, and now you're chopping earlier. So it's really a 63-day cycle, and you're losing all the veg space and the transportation. That all goes into the low maintenance system. 1 layer of trellis, untopped, 1 medium, hand saturating. It's a full system on its own that we've been working on for the past year.
Yeah, and it's still strain dependent with some things too, with how long early things get chopped. You know, your runts and your early flowers are done quick. You know, your sure pies, there are still there's certain strains where we have a different finishing cycle for that. You know, we'll have to dry it out, harder, still get it to hit. But even those 70-day strains are still cut back a week. So like that week that we were losing, right? We're not really losing at all.
We're shaving off a week to 2 weeks of flower.
Now you're day 1 of flower to day 63. You're starting that day 1 of flower, high reds at the end of each 12-hour cycle. Correct. For 8 minutes.
Correct.
Okay. Yep. Now it sounds like you're seeing a better quality.
Well, the base of having the mixed spectrum, so having the Lux and then the LED is already going to create a different spectrum. And then you add the reds on top where you need a 2-driver, 2-channel LED.
So it's a combination of everything on lighting.
It's all full system.
The LED, it's also the HPS, it's the reds at the last 8 minutes. Have you done it without the reds the last 8 minutes?
They don't respond the same.
It's crazy.
Homie, they just built a new spot all around this lighting technique, and his guys in there tending to it like, bro, like we're never going back. He sees day 1 when you implement the reds, it's not the same. Every petiole is green, every stalk is green, every leaf is just on 10.
I really feel like we're utilizing all this in the in our legal facility as well. However, we're using a different brand LED, right? That's not tunable, so we're not running reds at night. Still chopping a little bit earlier, not the 1 to 2 weeks. Still getting that great quality though. I mean, quality is insane. My partner there, Michigan Under Fire, is my partner in my legal spot. We have this other recipe over his spot. He's night and day difference. I believe running those reds at night too, it's something with the calcium uptake. I've never seen petioles and stalks so green in my life.
The whole room's lime green. You can never go back.
And so we'll look at that room, and then we'll have another mixed light room without. Still great. Plants aren't praying as hard. You're getting more purple stemming. You're getting more, purple petioles. The plants are night and day different, and they're just finishing faster. You start getting deeper into flower. Day 14 onsets faster. Day 21 looks like day 30. Day 30 is looking like day 40. I mean, it's just the other room. The progression without it is just a little bit slower. Still a great product, great end product. But those reds, you're really shaving. That's where that time starts to get shaved off.
People be like, Jay, how are you getting these, these crazy colors, your fades, your bulk? What are you doing with your irrigation? It's like, well, I'm keeping it 5.5 EC with 50% dryback, straight, easy. It's all about the lighting. All about the lighting.